Hello, welcome to my bookshelf. And today I thought I'd do something a little bit different and show you all my books that I have in German. I absolutely love German. It's the language that I learned in high school, but I will just start off, warn you right off the bat that I am not at all proficient in German. I know maybe like the foundation, the very basics, but I am not fluent. So I apologize if I completely butcher anything that I say that's in German. I just really like the language and I do hope to learn it better one day using these books. So the first about half of these books I'm going to show you are books that were originally written in English and that were translated into German, and then the last half will be books that were just written originally in German. So that all being said, let's get started. Now the first three books are all Harry Potter related, which should be of no surprise to you. And that book would be Harry Potter und der Halbblut-Prinz, which is Half-Blood Prince in English. And I just love the artwork on this. I just think it's really unique and definitely very different from the ones that we're used to on the American edition. I also love that the German edition has Joanne K. Rowling on it instead of J.K. Rowling. I like that they're not ashamed that she's a woman. The next book is Die Märchen von Beedle den Bard, which you can probably tell is Tales of the Beedle of the Bard in English. And again, definitely very different artwork and just very different style compared to the American version. I definitely like the American version a little better, a lot more aesthetically pleasing, if you will. But this one is still pretty cool just because it, again, is German. And also a really weird random thing about this version is that the ink is blue, which I've never seen before in any book. So that's kind of cool, and I really don't know why. I just thought it'd be a cool book to add to my Harry Potter collection. The next book that I wanted to show you is The Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them screenplay, written in German. And I actually don't own the American version of this, I just own the German version, but I'm hoping that I shouldn't need to necessarily buy the American version just because it is a screenplay, so it's mainly just dialogue and then like set direction. So it should be a lot easier for me to get through and try to translate into English as I'm trying to learn German. And I also just love this book because the cover is really velvety and really nice, and then on top of that, the front cover has a niffler on it, which is super cute. And I just love the detail that goes into books like this. It's just really nice, and if you're not aware, it also has just really cute animal prints and stuff throughout the book as well, just for some flair. That's in the American version as well. Just something I like about this book itself. Okay, so moving right along, the next book that I wanted to show you is Gute Geister by Catherine Stockett, which is The Help in English. I also have Divergent in German by Veronica Roth. And just something I wanted to point out about this book is it has a really cute Jetzt im Kino sticker, which just means now in theaters. And I've never seen that in any book before, and I just think it's really cute and has a little movie poster on there as well. The next one's really cool just because it is actually different from the American version in a lot of ways, and that is Die Tribute von Panem, Tödliche Spiele, probably butchered that. Literally translated, it means the tributes from Panem, Deadly Games, which you can probably infer that this is Hunger Games, and you'd be correct, by Suzanne Collins. And I also like that the cover is completely different from the American version, so unless you knew German, you might not immediately know that this is the Hunger Games. The next book that I have is The Shining by Stephen King. And if you're curious, Roman just means novel in German, so you probably have seen that in a lot of these books I've been showing you. I don't know what Lingen means, and the only interesting thing about this is that it's like a hardcover, but it's got things printed on it, like the text back here. It's just got a very different style than, I think, American books. I would also like to just say that this is going to be a really difficult one for me to get through when I actually do attempt to read this, just because the English version is no walk in the park itself, so this will be a challenge if I ever make it this far. The next book that I have is Das Skorpionenhaus by Nancy Farmer, which the American version is called The House of the Scorpion. Basically, it just follows this boy who finds out he's a clone, and we just kind of get his life story from childhood into adolescence. One of my favorite books, actually, so I'm really excited to have the German version, so one day I can read it. Alright, next book is Die Wilden Hühner by Cornelia Funk. The title basically means like the wild chickens. I'm not sure if that's what the American version is called. I don't know. So this might be recognizable to someone else, but it's not for me. I just like this because it's aimed for younger kids, so the text will be a lot easier to read. And again, just like The Shining, it has this like hardcover with everything just like printed on it, which is actually kind of nice in a way. It makes it a little bit more durable and nice because you don't have to deal with dust jackets, so much appreciated. Okay, so these next books are books that were written in German originally, so you probably won't recognize them, so I'll probably just like speed through these unless there's something interesting to note of it. So this one is Lira Spiegel by Reinhard Rohn. Not sure what Lira means, but Spiegel is mirror, so that's interesting. I believe this is some kind of crime novel based on the back. There's mention of police, so not sure anything else about this, but the cover's kind of cool. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce this, but basically this is some kind of screenplay or something. It's just dialogue, really. So I just thought it would be really easy to get through, and it is a really tiny book, so that's why that's in my collection. And this next book is also pretty small and should be pretty easy to get through. And again, I'm not going to pronounce the title, but it's basically just quotes from famous authors and things like that. And there's actually some American authors in here as well, which is interesting. And I just thought that was really cool. A lot of these are aimed for younger kids. This one is Oscar und die Dame in Rosa by Eric Emanuel Schmidt, which is just Oscar and the Woman in Pink. And also, because I got this at like Half Price Books, there's like writing in it in German from one person to another, which is kind of cool. So this is actually the first book in a series. The series is called Die Wilden Fußballkurle. Fußball is football, which is really soccer in German. And this one is about Leon der Slalom Dribbler. Not sure what that means, but I'm assuming that just straight up means dribbler. And again, it's aimed at kids, so it should be pretty easy to get through. My next book, Als die Welt noch jung war by Jörg Schubiger. This is a very unique, unusual book. It's got a lot of weird drawings, as you can see, including the back with a pig climbing up a tree. And the inside also has some disturbing pictures, some which are not appropriate for children, but yet, from my understanding, it's aimed towards children. But I could be wrong. So again, just kind of weird things drawn in here. There's a cat hanging out on some chairs, you know, as cats do. This man is jumping out of a window? Not sure why. So just some of the fun things that you can expect in a book like this. I just think it's really unique. So I thought I should get it. Also, this is something I've never seen in an American book, is that on the actual cover, so it's got a picture on it, but it's not like imprinted in it. It's just like printed on the cover of it, if that makes sense. Like, it's no indentation here. It's just printed on it in color too, which is just unusual. I'm not used to seeing that, but it's kind of cool. And that picture actually looks really friendly and nice, which is misleading because then you look in there and there's some weird pictures. And then the back has like a mailman or something reading a book with a giant hand. This next book is pretty unique as well, but in a completely different way. I don't really know what the title is. There's something written here. Also, the top has black on it, but the rest don't. Not really sure why. This is kind of fun because this actually is basically a guide to help you learn chess and like chess strategies and whatnot. So it's got a bunch of chess boards. Very unique. This is definitely not something that I've ever seen in English as well. So I just thought it'd be really cool to add to my collection, and also because it is basically like chess strategy, it should be pretty straightforward as far as reading goes. And also maybe I'll learn to become an amazing chess player. The next one is Die Erzählungen by Franz Kafka. Kafka, as you probably know, wrote the Metamorphosis, and that's what this is actually in the original German. It also has other stories in it as well, and I was just, again, really excited to get a book that I had read in English that was actually translated from German, so it's really nice to finally get the original text. I just thought that was really cool. So moving right along, next one is Ein Licht im Winter by Brenda Clark. I honestly don't know what this is about. I'm assuming it's some kind of detective novel because she's wearing like a trench coat, but I really don't know. It's also kind of odd because this is the American Capitol building. It even has an American flag. Not really sure why this takes place in America. It kind of makes me wonder if it's originally an American book. Not sure, but just thought it was really interesting. Alright, the next book is Der junge Goethe. And I really just love the cover of this. It's got this leaf on it, this really pretty design. And from my understanding, it's basically just like a biography of Goethe, who is a famous German writer. So again, I can learn about a specific topic while I'm learning German, which is pretty cool. Moving along, the next one is Drei Männer im Schnee by Eric Kostner. This also just has a really unique picture on the cover, which is a bit unusual. Oh, and I should also say that the title means Three Men in the Snow. Alright, the next book, Ihre beste Freundin by Sarah Kennedy, which just means her best friend, and based on the cover, maybe not so best friends anymore. The next book is a screenplay, and it's Der blaue Engel, which just means the blue angel, and this is actually a book that had been turned into a movie. And so actually there's pictures from the original movie, which I think came out like maybe in the 60s or something, like a long time ago either way. And so yeah, on one side it's just like the screenplay, and the other side this is supposed to help you learn English, so they have some translations. And also you can tell that it was used in a high school, so shout out to these people, I suppose. Kinda cool. Alright, so the last book that I wanted to show you is the most bizarre and just straight up weird book, so just warning you. Not gonna pronounce the title. Yeah, I think this cover really just says it all. The pictures in here are very, very horrifying, and somewhat upsetting. This is basically like little like nursery rhymes from my understanding for children, but like I said, with like pictures like this and more to come I will show you, not exactly child friendly. So it starts off not so terrible. I don't know what you can see. This boy is being attacked by a dog, but if you read this story, so he's called like Bösen Frederick, which just means like evil or mean Frederick. So he probably deserves this dog biting at him. That's the only story I actually read so far. This one's pretty straightforward, except that this, I don't know what she's doing down here. I don't know if she's smoking or what, but it doesn't look great. But again, that's just the beginning. This woman is on fire, you know, just casually on fire. Kids love reading about people on fire. Let's see. This one's lovely. This wizard is like throwing, I don't know if they're dwarves or children, into this pot of ink. You know, again, lovely, friendly things for children. This one, there's a rabbit with a rifle. Also super friendly. No big deal. Children love that. And of course, now the rabbit is shooting someone who fell into a well. Also, quality entertainment here. This one is pretty straight up horrifying. This man is cutting off this boy's thumb. Not okay. Just not okay. And this one is kind of weird. He starts off rather plump, I guess, and then he gets like really creepy thin. I guess that's what happens if you don't eat your dinner. And this one is just kind of funny. Everything's just on the floor because this kid pulled it off on accident. So, which also might be dangerous. I mean, all that silverware and dishes are just all broken on top of him. That's great. Um, okay, and the last one's kind of weird too. It looks like this person drowned, but no worries. They're spitting out water. Great. So yeah, bizarre book. I honestly hesitated a lot to get this, but it also was just so bizarre that I really wanted to get it just because. And also, it is meant for children, so the writing should be pretty easy for someone like me, and it should help me learn German. I am just straight up terrified by the illustrations, though, and the implications that children read this at some point. I cannot imagine what kind of nightmares I had because of this book. Because I feel like I'm about to have nightmares, and I'm an adult. Alright, so those are my German books. I know some of them were really bizarre, kind of weird, but a lot of them are a lot of fun. So I'm excited to one day crack them open and attempt to translate them and hopefully to polish my German so I can actually be somewhat fluent in German. Alright, so let me know what you think about all these books in the comments. They're pretty all over the place, and I hope that they were at least interesting to look at. So thank you for watching this video, and until next time.